Happy Friday, dear friends. Everything that is being talked about now in the news and on all of our minds is this coronavirus. And now it's almost Purim. We're a few days from Purim. So what lessons can we take from the coronavirus and how can that help us grow spiritually? So I want to share with you 3 ideas. Idea number 1. In this era of modern medicine and the advances in technology, it's very easy to think, man, we are in control. We've got it under control. We've got medicines, we've got technology, we've got whatever we need. We actually don't need God anymore. We needed God like in the Middle Ages, but now we figured it out. And here comes along a tiny little microscopic virus and can literally change the world seemingly overnight. We're vulnerable. We need Hashem. It's not going to be us. Even if we have the queen in the palace, we are always vulnerable, just like the Jews were in Shushan over 2,500 years ago. Idea number 2. The Jewish people were sitting there and their lives were at stake. And what they did in the Purim story was they did tshuva, they repented. And that tshuva, you didn't see the tshuva work, but that tshuva affected the course of Jewish history. What's going on now is we have something that happened in China, and seemingly overnight, that has affected New York and Italy and everywhere around the world. Things have an effect even if you don't realize it. When the Jewish people got together and they stopped being scattered and they started to come together, they realized that they can affect change. Just like in a physical sense, a virus can spread and can affect the world, it can affect the economy, it can affect lives, so too can our spiritual decisions affect our lives and the lives of our people. And finally, I want to share with you a story that I recently heard, which I think very much is appropriate for this time. I'm thinking as I see what's going on in the news and I see that people are being quarantined and flights are not going into Israel, I'm reminded of the following story about a man who was a Rosh Yeshiva. He was the head of a school, a rabbinical school in Israel. And in this school, in his office, he had a big picture behind him of a young 18-year-old guy standing there at the kotel in a polo shirt. Somebody walked in and said, "Rabbi, what's the story with that picture? Why do you have a picture of that guy, that kid?" And he said, "Let me tell you." He said, "I was 18 years old, and I'd come from America to Israel to study in a yeshiva for a year. And I was not really so into it, and I was more into basketball than I was into learning Torah. And it was January, and I hadn't really been given much thought into my life, into my spirituality. But there was a drought that winter, and the yeshiva went to the kotel to pray, to daven, to try to hope and bring some rain. And we were there with tens of thousands of other Jews. And it was a completely beautiful sunny day. And I came, and all I was thinking about was basketball. And I couldn't wait to get back to my yeshiva to play a game of basketball. And I'm sitting there and I'm pretending to pray, and I'm sitting there doing the thing, but really my mind is not into it. All of a sudden I look up and I see it gets cloudy, it gets dark. And in moments, all of a sudden, downpour. Now all the big Hasidim came, they had come prepared with their umbrellas, they had real faith. Me, I was stuck, I couldn't believe it. There it was, it started pouring out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, I heard a shofar. I heard the sound of a shofar. And I'm sitting there at the kotel with tens of thousands of Jews, and it's pouring rain and there's a shofar. And all I could think of, oh my goodness, Mashiach is here. The Messiah has arrived. And who am I? Oh my goodness, here I am just thinking about basketball and that's all I care about? Mashiach is here. And what am I? Who am I? And he said, that picture in my office, that's a picture of me. Because I never want that feeling again. I never want to have that feeling like, oh my goodness, the world has completely changed and I'm not ready for it. I'm not the person that I want to be. And I'm thinking, here we are in the coronavirus and our worlds are seemingly upside down now. We're not going to the school. Some people are not going to college. They're not going to high school. Their things are closed. There's no Purell in the stores, restaurants, supermarkets. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a complete uncertainty at this point. We have no idea what's going to happen. And what's going to happen that day when Mashiach comes? When God finally calls us back to Israel? Are we going to be left standing there like that 18-year-old in the rain, wishing he would have done more to grow spiritually? Or are we going to take these small messages? And whether or not the coronavirus disappears in a week from now or is there for months and months, God forbid, what is going to be our reaction one day when Mashiach comes and we all return back to Israel? Where are we going to be? How are we going to greet Mashiach? I wish you a safe, happy, and healthy Purim. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for listening to the Masorah Minute.